Hey everybody, Ben here from Performer Magazine. Wanted to do our final update on our parts caster build. As you can see, even with all the reflections, everything is completed here. So before we go any further, want to do a couple quick shout outs, and then we'll go through all the specs, and then we'll go through all of the tones. Shout out number one, definitely to Warmoth for helping us out with a bunch of our parts. If you don't know the good folks at Warmoth, do yourself a favor and check them out. They do awesome replacement bodies and necks and hardware and finishing, and really just all around great people for your aftermarket needs. They don't do kits or full, fully completed guitars or anything like that, but if you're looking to do your own parts caster build, they've got the bodies and the necks that really just can't be beat, and I say that from personal experience. And shout out number two goes to Jason Lollar, who once we kind of gave him the heads up that we were doing this project, was really gracious and sent us a pair of his really awesome Jazzmaster pickups for the bridge and the neck. So without further ado, let's get to it. Our neck, we went with one of the new Warmoth designs. It's their Warhead, which is actually pretty cool. It's sort of a take on the old classic headstock look. We did a custom water slide decal, and by the way, all of our complete build rundown and all of our tips and everything are on the website in a really giant article that I hope you take the time to read, because it's got a lot of tips, it's got a lot of photos of the build process, and a lot of video tips too. Also a downloadable spreadsheet to track expenses, and a cool chart for drilling pilot holes, so you know how to do that properly. Anyway, back to the build. Maple neck, rosewood board, big old jumbo frets, aged dot markers. These are just Goto standard tuning pegs. For me personally, don't see the point in spending big money on tuning pegs when most of your tuning issues occur here at the nut and down here at the bridge. Sorry, I'm trying to see myself on the monitor as I do this. And then a little string tree, because on F-style guitars, I don't want to get in trouble legally, but I'm going to go ahead and do that anyway. These are Fender-style guitars, let's face it. You're going to want a string tree, especially if you have 6 in a line that aren't staggered tuning pegs, so we threw that on there. Synthetic nut, standard truss rod. I know Warmoth has a lot of options for that, but we went pretty standard across the board. The only thing that we really kind of went super custom on was the body. So this is a Koa top, this is a Hawaiian wood, and ash body, not chambered, so it's not super heavy actually, considering the Jazzmaster style body is bigger than say a Strat or a Tele. So actually kind of surprised at the lightweight nature of this, but they did a gorgeous job on this body and the neck too, but the body especially, we just went with the clear coat, because why would you cover Koa with anything really. Warmoth pickguard, the reason we went with Warmoth again on the pickguard is because their pickguard shape actually fits the body perfectly, whereas aftermarket Fender pickguards, only for the Jazzmaster, will be just a little bit off, because Warmoth, the way that they route their pickups, they're in this position here, and it's a couple millimeters off from where Fender does it. So if you're doing a Warmoth offset build, just make sure you get their pickguards so you don't run into any problems. All the wiring inside I'm not going to bore you with, but we did a standard Jazzmaster wiring scheme with the rhythm circuit and the lead circuit, all CTS pods and switchcraft goodness inside there. The Lollar pickups, like I said, these are the standard Lollar Jazzmaster pickups, and they sound amazing. Knobs, these are kind of just, Tele Deluxe style knobs that we picked up. Standard Jazzmaster tailpiece, and it's got the little locker on there too, so you can lock this down. If you break strings, that's actually a really nice function to have. This is a modified Mustang bridge. If you can see it there, it's got individual slots on the bridge saddles there for the strings. Typically Jazzmaster bridges are sort of the Achilles heel of the whole design, because they have a number of different slots here, and because of the shallow angle that the strings travel over the bridge, strings tend to pop out of those saddles and jump saddles, and especially if you have a hybrid picking style, or if you finger pick or pick up a lot, that tends to happen. But with the individual slots here cut a little deeper, you reduce that risk. One of the other things that we did to reduce that risk and to increase the brake angle over the bridge was to shim it. You know what, there's no good way of showing you that because it's in the neck pocket, so you're not going to see it anyway. But we took a Stuart McDonald 1 degree shim, and I would say for most offset builds like this, especially Jazzmaster or Jaguar, you might just need to pop a shim in there. It's no big deal. It's not comment on the quality of Warmoth's parts fitting together at all. In fact, if you open up a fender, you know, a lot of them come off the line with a shim. It's just, you know, how you have to fit the neck to the body to get a proper brake angle. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something you may end up doing. We recommend the full pocket shims from StewMac. They're like $5 a piece, which might seem like a lot because a lot of people probably just shove a business card or something in there, but the full pocket shim ensures that you don't have like a ski jump lift after a couple of years where things sort of fall apart for you. Then you really need some work. So that full contact shim inside will do you good. I've rambled quite a bit. I think you've seen the loveliness of this and the reflections of the editorial office. I'm sure there's piles of paper on the other side of me. They're getting caught up in the guitar. I'm going to shut up. We're going to plug it in and play through it so you can hear, you know, what you end up. Alright, that's probably enough of me rambling, so let's actually get to hear some of the tones here. So we've got a 3-way selector and 2 standard Jazzmaster pickups in the bridge and neck. So this is on lead circuit, which means all this normal circuitry works here. Master tone, master volume, and a 3-way switch. So on the bridge pickup you get kind of this warm, jangly sound like this. So here's a big open chord. And what's nice about these Jazzmasters is when you really get into some picking dynamics, you can drive a good amp. So lightly, it would be something like this, and then driving. The middle position here is actually nice because it's noise canceling. You've got reverse wound pickups here, so in the middle you actually cancel out a lot of that noise, much like the in-between positions on the Strat, so you get something like this. It's kind of a nice, more full, rich tone in the middle. I actually like the middle a lot, but my favorite is probably the neck. It's a lot sweeter sounding, especially on a longer scale length, like this, especially where it's positioned in relation to the fretboard. So again, big open chord would sound something like this. So you can hear the difference back to the bridge. A little bit darker in the neck. What the neck is great for is, as the name kind of suggests, is more like jazzy lead tones. What's really cool on this is like stuff by like the meters. I don't want to get in too much trouble. That's kind of why I'm playing like just chords and generic stuff, but hopefully no one will turn us in. It's just really sweet on the neck pickup. Just a really nice tone. And what you can do on these Jazzmasters is, of course, play with your volume and tone. You know, if you have a good gain setting, if you back off the volume, you'll clean up a lot, and if you increase that, you'll really drive. But on the rhythm circuit, all of this stuff down here is disabled. So when you're up in the rhythm position, the only thing that's on is this neck pickup, and you would think it's going to be the same as the neck position on the lead circuit, but it's not. So here's the lead circuit neck position, just again, big open chord. Now if we go up to the rhythm circuit and play with the volume and tone wheels here just on full, you'll hear it's actually a different sound because there's some different circuitry going on here. So again, only the neck pickup is on, but it's going to sound a little different. Pretty distinct difference. The rhythm circuit will give you a much darker tone. Again, this was originally designed to be a jazz guitar. Not many jazz guys picked it up. Joe Pass played it briefly. There are a couple other examples, but in the rhythm position here, Again, great for kind of like jazzy lead tones or even kind of chordal playing, ninths and extensions. So just something like this. Diminished runs would sound great. And again, just lead playing up in this rhythm position. It's just a really sweet tone, and what's great, I don't know if it's being captured by the room mic, but the notes just kind of bloom off the board. One of the reasons why a lot of indie bands are drawn to these offsets is because they're playing a lot cleaner than, say, indie rock bands of maybe 5-10 years ago. So those clean tones that they appreciate really come from things like Strats and Tellys and Jazzmasters, especially as a lot of bands gravitate more towards the neck pickup. Again, I'm just going to play the super generic jazz run so you can hear it in the rhythm position. So yeah, so that's it. Does dirty up well. Those are a lot of clean tones. If we go to our, you can hear the noise already. We'll go into the middle position, but you know, you can get some decent overdriven sounds here. That's in the rhythm. Let's go to the lead circuit here so we can cut out some of that noise if we go in the middle position. Again, this will all be disabled in the rhythm circuit, but if we go into the lead circuit. And of course the bridge pickup. Gonna be noisy. Sorry, I gotta shout over the noise, but Jazzmaster, again, for me, I gravitate more towards the clean stuff. I'm not much of a distortion player as it is, but go back to the clean channel. So so yeah, I think this came out sounding really great. I'll cut out here and we'll cut back to more of me rambling, but I hope you enjoyed the build process. I hope it encourages you to do your own build, go to Warmoth or another supplier and, you know, really get started speccing out, you know, how you want the neck shaped, what kind of nut you want, what kind of frets you want, how many frets you want, what kind of headstock shape you want, what kind of tuner holes you want drilled. You can really spec out everything, and you can do it, and you can save money. We did it. And we're stupid, so if that tells you anything, you can do it too. So hope you enjoyed all this. Read the full article, download the budget spreadsheet that we've got on the website, download the pilot hole chart that's embedded in the article, take a look at all of our build photos, and you know, let us know what you build. You know, go to our Facebook page and our Twitter and show off any Warmoth builds that you guys have done too, and we'll share those as well. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. I do want to say two quick things. I know I've been talking a lot, so I will shut up, I promise. But what we did with this build confirmed two things for me, and I want them to confirm two things for you. Thing number one, I'm an editor, I should have better words than thing, but thing number one is you can do this. Trust me, you can do this. And if you get to a point where you can't do it, if you need help with wiring or fitting the neck pocket or shimming it properly, there's no shame in taking it to like a local repair shop or tech or somebody to help you out getting across the finish line. You know, we had a grounding issue with the wiring. I didn't see myself as a failure. I mean, I see myself as a failure in most things in my life, but not that. You know, I need a little help, so what? Bring it in, have someone fix it up, and you're good to go. So yes, you can do this. Even if you've never picked up a soldering iron before, it really, there's videos out there that will help you learn it in about 30 seconds. It's not rocket science. you can do this, is what I want to get across to you, and I think I have, because I've said it about 50 times, because I tend to ramble. Thing number 2, again, thing being my awesome word of the day, is we did confirm that this actually can save you money. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people on message boards, old fuddy-duddies is what I like to call them, who insist that you won't save money building your own parts caster. Now, you might not save money building your own custom, in quotes, guitar from scratch, like if you want to cut out your own body from a body blank made of 200-year-old fallen wood, or carve your own neck, and that's not really what I mean by custom guitars. What we're talking about is parts casters. You like a Strat or a Tele or a Jaguar or a Mustang or something, but maybe Fender doesn't make it with the specs that you want. That's really what a parts caster build is for, and why Warmoth is so great, because Warmoth makes aftermarket bodies and every spec imaginable. They do the finish work if you want them to. They make a ton of different neck styles, so you can really kind of custom craft your own Frankenstein guitar from parts and have it be your custom guitar. Now, you're not going to be able to do like a neck through design like a BC Rich Mockingbird or anything like that, but if you are looking for a more traditional style guitar, and Warmoth makes a ton of different styles, not just Strats and Tele bodies, which they are fully licensed to do. They have some original designs too. If you're looking to do that sort of a bolt-on style guitar, typically what we've seen, and we got a couple quotes before we did this to test out our theories, is they're going for about $2,000 to $3,500, if you can believe that. Is it worth it? That's up to you. There are some builders out there who we greatly respect, like Dano Caster makes really awesome stuff. There are people out there who are doing a lot more handwork. There are also a lot of people who are getting off-the-shelf parts from Warmoth and All Parts and Stuart McDonald and slapping them together and throwing their logo on there and giving you a bill for $2 or $3 grand. So you can go that route, and it's no disrespect to those people who are doing it. There are a lot of fine craftspeople who are doing that, but you can actually do it yourself. Maybe not the finishing. I don't have a paint booth. I don't want to shoot nitrocellulose lacquer. We went with the polyurethane base, but a lot of the stuff you can do yourself. Parts-wise, figure maybe $1,000, maybe less, depending on if you don't want anything super fancy. We went with a fancy top, costs a little bit more. But if you're using standard parts, you can find a lot of used parts, online. eBay, Reverb, Craigslist will have good parts that you can find. Even if you want to find used pickups that somebody ripped out of an old project, there are ways to save money. Where I would recommend you spend the money, if you can, is on the body and the neck, because those are obviously the main components of the guitar.